God bless America. Hello everybody, I am the Talk Radio Protege, and this is the Protege program. This is your, I guess I should say, by the time you're watching this video, I'll need to be welcoming you back from the weekend. I'm still technically on vacation, so there's there's that, I guess. But I wanted to talk about this story that I saw on Friday from the Wall Street Journal, which is why you're looking at it in my email folder. And it is that apparently high schools are changing the way that they're addressing recognizing the highest performing students in their graduating classes. Now, well, let's just get into a little bit of what's being said so far. We begin with a reference to an individual student who worked as hard as he could to be valedictorian at this school in North Carolina, and then that school decided that they're no longer going to address the valedictorian. It's the 15th largest high school in the nation, and it's joining other districts that have moved away from lauding a single highest performer. And this student's response is that the school is instilling in us that we shouldn't try to be the best. And they point out that it's either getting lonely or very crowded at the top of schools. And some schools have stopped addressing or recognizing the best performing student in the class as a valedictorian, while other schools have began recognizing anyone that gets a 4.0 GPA or better. And that's becoming increasingly common for two reasons. One, as the basic curriculum, as I'll call it, gets easier and easier, while more and more students are picking up these advanced honors classes at the same time. So you have you have two things happening at the same time. Students who want to set themselves apart from the rabble, if you will, entering these advanced classes becoming more accessible, therefore enabling more students to take the advanced classes, as well as the doubling, as well as dumbing down on the basic coursework, which enables more students to achieve the 4.0 GPA. The high school that I went to is undergoing somewhat the reverse of this trend. Before my graduating class, anyone who had a 4.0 GPA was the valedictorian, and at the most, this had resulted in 2 or 3 valedictorians at one time, until my graduating class, and we had 6, and then the school said, okay, no more of that. From now on, a valedictorian shall be a student who obtains the student with the highest GPA, and in the event of multiple students with 4.0 GPAs, we're going to take the student who has participated in specific honors or upper level coursework. So my school is actually going the other way, making the valedictorian position more competitive. Maybe we're just a little bit behind of what schools on the coast have been doing. I don't actually know, but that's the situation for these big coastal schools. Is that they're being infiltrated with anti-competition, socialistic mindsets. Apparently, half of U.S. states have schools that have stopped naming valedictorians altogether, or now name multiple to head off what school officials say has become unhealthy competition among students. And my question at this point is, how do these schools determine what exactly is unhealthy competition? Because especially in states that prize high school athletics, for instance, you have the big basketball schools of Duke and North Carolina that I'm sure really want their high schools to produce very competitive, very outstanding basketball players. At the same time, you have states like Texas, Oklahoma, and the Deep South that prize football and probably do not want to see schools shut down football as unhealthy, quote-unquote, unhealthy competition. So how do these administrations decide what is unhealthy competition when it comes to scholarship, when it comes to academics? And I think it's useful to point out that competition is not inherently unhealthy, and I think that's an idea that would baffle frankly, my generation, the generation, or the half of my generation that was raised by the back half of Gen Xers who really started pushing this anti-competition ideals in Pee-wee sports, and now as that generation begins to follow their children into high school, they're beginning to push anti-competition in scholarship as well. It's, again, this socialistic tendency to want to equalize outcome that makes us say, well, we shouldn't compete on any level whatsoever. And it's why I say that competition is not inherently harmful. In fact, competition tends to build up and allow the students, the athletes, and whatnot that are willing to put in the effort and that want to go the extra mile, that want to be the best students and the best athletes. Competition does not suppress the tendency for some students to want to be better. It actually brings that out in students. And I can illustrate this in my own life. I know that doesn't set the rule, but my grades in high school were a lot better than they were in college. And I think that's not just because the curriculum in college is more difficult. I think that's also due to the competitive nature of high school. You know, you need to perform well in high school in order to secure scholarships. You need to have good grades in high school in order to secure funding to put you through college. In college, it turns around a little bit. The standards are a little more lax. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. The standards are a little more lax in terms of you getting to keep your scholarship. I was able to maintain a higher than 4.0 GPA in high school thanks to the weightings of those advanced classes. And then in college, all college demanded of me was a B average, a 3.0 average. And so my grades suffered. And I think it was that competition, that lack of competition rather in college, that was a factor in my grades going down. In addition, competition in sports tends to, or a competitive drive in athletes, tends to bring out more passion for the sport, tends to bring out harder work in becoming the best athletes. Now, I think there can be suppressive competition when you have competitors that so far outclass you that you begin to get the feeling that you can never match up with those individuals, whether that be athletically or in education. What the remedy is to that, I do not know, but I know that the remedy is not reducing competition. If an individual feels like their abilities are such that they'll never be able to outshine their competitors, then they don't need to have competition taken away from them. They need to have more tools given to them to help them achieve their maximum potential, or maybe even push their potential beyond the limit that they may perceive. Now, I could sit silently and read the rest of this story as I look for more things to comment on, but that would be boring. There's no reason to do that. I think I'll just leave it at this. But more importantly, I want to know what you think. What do you think about competition between high school students? Does scholastic competition bring out more achievement in students, or does it suppress work ethic in students? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe so that you don't miss a single video. I'm uploading every weekday. Again, thank you for watching. Have a good evening, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.